CBS News Miami is committed to covering Cuba as the island nation is being pushed to its limits. From widespread power outages to a lack of oil, the Cuban people are struggling to find relief. And closer to home, South Floridians are joining together to offer a helping hand to the island nation. CBS News Miami's Steve Majiri is your reporter live at Miami International Airport, where a flight with some humanitarian aid is headed to Cuba. What is the group sending, Steve?
Well, Naja, about 140 people have gathered 6,300 pounds of medicine, medical supplies, non-perishable food items, among other items, and it's all going to Havana today for a humanitarian trip. And the people behind this trip tell me it's not just about getting supplies down to Cuba, it's also pushback against policies that they believe are creating an economic crisis on the island.
It took hours to load up and check all these supplies at MIA before it's brought on a flight to Havana. We're told there's about $433,000 worth of supplies on board.
People are suffering, and I think one of the things that U.S. citizens can do is to travel to Cuba, is to support the Cuban people.
Leonardo Flores is with the Code Pink organization that's behind the trip. They're heading down while the U.S. is blocking most oil shipments into Cuba, causing blackouts across the island.
People in the United States don't agree with a policy that's designed to create tremendous hardships in Cuba.
Medea Benjamin helped put all this together. She says the Cuban people are in need of aid, but isn't sure how long these supplies will last.
We've been taking food and medicines now for the past year because the situation is so dire, but in the last 3 months it's become just unbearable.
Jim Carlos came to protest the trip because he's worried the supplies won't make it to those in need.
The aid that they're going to give is going to go right to the regime, and they're not going to give it to the people that are suffering.
We asked Benjamin if she's concerned that the Cuban government will take the supplies once it lands in Havana.
The hospitals are run by the Cuban government, and so it's important to keep those hospitals functioning.
In the meantime, U.S. and Cuban officials are in talks, but Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel has said an agreement is far off. Carlos doesn't agree with the Trump administration's policies, but feels that the U.S. oil blockade is being used as leverage.
The Trump regime is using it to make it as a negotiating table so that he can just take over Cuba.
And that group will be back here in Miami on Monday around 2 p.m. And meanwhile, Governor Ron DeSantis has warned of what he's calling a mass exodus of Cubans that could come up to Florida through the Keys. The governor says that's not acceptable, so he says he's working on a plan to secure Florida's shorelines. Live at MIA, Steve Majiri, CBS News, Miami.